Edinburgh Calling. This is Edinburgh Calling. But much more important than that, this is your host, the bewitching, beautiful Belladonna. Yes, my gorgeous fans, I know that the UEA radio players and I normally broadcast you from the fine city of Norwich. But today is a special occasion. We have brought our magnificent ensemble up to Scotland. Our friends at the Fate of Frankenstein conference in Edinburgh have invited us to the Old Anatomy Theatre in Summerhall to give you a slice of our gruesome storytelling. There's been many a gruesome slice in this anatomy theatre, I can tell you. But today, it is our turn. So please, make yourself comfortable, my darlings. Stoke up the fire and switch off the lights as we take you on a terrifying journey in the company of Frankenstein and a little twist of fate. Joan and Peter collect antiquarian books and other literary artifacts. They've made something of a fortune with their acquisitions. But don't be mistaken. They may seem like a charming couple, but they are utterly ruthless. They collect rare books like a big game hunter collects tigers. When they see a prize, nothing will get in their way, and they get whatever they want. We join Joan and Peter now in the house of a certain Mrs. Meadowbank, a charming old lady who lives all alone in her own secret library.
Thanks for agreeing to meet us, Mrs. Meadowbank. You have such a lovely house.
And such an amazing collection. Rows and rows of books. All of them first editions and rarities.
Bound manuscripts, handwritten letters by great writers framed on the wall. It's simply wonderful.
And we didn't even know this collection existed. Thought it was just a rumour. The El Dorado of rare books.
It's not something I ever set out to advertise, young man.
Oh, but you must be so proud of your collection.
It's not just a collection. It is my life. I may have retired from the world, but I continue to be tutored and refined by books. My wonderful books.
What a lovely sentiment.
Thank you. But shall we cut to the chase, my dear? I hear you are interested in some of the manuscripts in my collection.
Yes, that's right.
Anything in particular?
Mary Shelley.
Ah, yes. Mary Shelley. Dear Mrs. Shelley. A wonderful writer. Such a talent. A truly wonderful voice, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yes.
Anything you are particularly interested in? The travel writing?
Not exactly.
Wonderful historical novels like The Fortunes of Perkin Warbeck.
Not really.
Her neglected short stories really are worth...
Frankenstein.
Ah, I see.
No need to beat around the bush anymore, eh, Joan? We're interested in Frankenstein.
We have been led to believe that you've got in your possession the handwritten manuscript of Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus.
I've certainly got a manuscript of Frankenstein. I believe the British Museum owns what is usually regarded as the manuscript.
I'm confused. What manuscript do you have exactly?
Tell us.
Is it in Mary Shelley's hand?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
How did you acquire it?
Now that, my dear, really is an extraordinary story that you would never...
Enough chatter. Show us the manuscript.
You betray a feverish impatience, young man. Very well. It's never far from my side. It's getting rather chilly. Why don't you sit closer to the fire?
Thank you. We will.
Ah, that's better.
Here it is. I'll put it on the table for you.
My goodness, it's true. This is definitely Mary Shelley's handwriting.
Of that, there can be no doubt.
But the words, the story, even from these pages, I can see that it's different.
What do you mean?
Oh, yes, it is different.
Peter, it looks like whole sections of scientific writing. There are formulae and descriptions.
Let me see.
Here, just look.
I twisted the tin foil around zinc wire and inserted it into the spine of the amphibian, and the muscles of the thorax immediately contracted.
A little further, and the abdomen contracted furiously.
These experiments on animals were repeated to greater and greater success.
Until I was ready to work on the ultimate specimen. Why don't you read further, my dear?
I have assimilated the knowledge of the ages, the neglected alchemists and the prominent scientists of our time. It has brought me to this point. I tremble with terror, as though on the edge of a deep, dark chasm. But I must proceed. I shall insert the zinc plate into the skull cavity. And now the brain shall be placed into the skull and sutured onto the spinal cord. I shall replace the section of skull. The moment of truth. Oh, it's alive! It's alive! God of heaven, forgive me.
That was the creation scene.
Yes? What of it?
Don't you get it? There's no creation scene in the novel. Not the published version, anyway.
I told you it was different, didn't I? And that is not the only revelation that is in store for you.
Oh, I am terribly sorry, my dear listeners. Belladonna here. I can see the producer is desperately trying to catch my eye. It looks like there is an urgent announcement.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is an extremely urgent public information announcement. There have been numerous reports of an upsurge in wandering monsters. The authorities have done a first-rate job in apprehending nearly all of them. Strong doses of garlic have ensured that all vampires are behaving themselves. All Egyptian mummies have been disenchanted and returned to display cases in museums. Even Fatberg, the terrifying bog monster, has gone home voluntarily to the sewers. Unfortunately, several monsters are still missing. We will now present to you the sensible course of action should you encounter a wandering monster. We join the Bagshot family during their afternoon constitutional.
Come on, children, do keep up.
There really is no need to dilly-dally.
Sorry, Mother.
Sorry, Father.
We were just looking in the bushes over there.
Oh, really? What is it? Some interesting wildlife?
No, Father. It looks like a monster.
A monster? What sort of a monster?
Where?
Can't you see it lurking menacingly with a mean, hungry look in its eyes over there in the bushes?
Oh, yes. I see him. That's not just any old monster. It's Frankenstein's monster.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. So it is. Come on, children, give him a wave. It's not every day you see a movie star. Hello.
Hello! Look, he's not alone.
Oh, yes. He's got his bride with him.
Oh, how glamorous. What a wonderful couple. We've seen all your motion pictures. Wonderful stuff.
I don't know, Mother. They look a little sad to me.
Well, I imagine you'd look a little sad if you had a bolt through your neck, young man.
Oh, honestly, children these days. What are you waiting for, children? Go and get their autographs.
Oh, can we?
Yes, off you go.
And take your time.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Mother.
Look how excited they are.
Oh, Father, when do you want us home?
Oh, no rush at all. Certainly don't expect to see you any time before sunrise.
Well, that was a bit of luck, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
I can go and see Uncle Barty.
Then you'll find me at the club.
Ladies and gentlemen, wandering monsters, don't be scared, explore the bushes and have some fun. Free entertainment for your children, for a limited time only.
Welcome back, my dear listeners. I do hope you're enjoying our tale of terror brought to you live from Edinburgh. Now, where were we? Oh yes, 2 collectors of antiquarian books have discovered a rare Mary Shelley manuscript in the house of a private collector. Let us return to Frankenstein and a little twist of fate.
And that is not the only revelation that is in store for you.
What do you mean?
Look at the end of the manuscript.
I am in the land of mist and frost and snow, a world of desolation. I have no choice, although it shall be the death of me.
Why talk of death, Frankenstein?
Vile demon, cursed be the day you first saw light.
Did I request thee, maker from my clay, to mould me, man? Thou art my creator.
Back, I say. You poison my eyes.
Accursed man, why did you form a monster so hideous that even you turn from me in disgust?
Foul creature, when I reflect upon your crimes and malice, my hatred and revenge burst all bounds of moderation. But what I have created, I shall destroy. You are too strong. I yield to you. My soul is damned, and I yield to my destruction.
I could tear you limb from limb as the lion rends the antelope. Frankenstein, I am malicious because I am miserable. I am shunned and hated by all mankind. I am a monster, a blot upon the earth from which all men flee. But why do you abhor me, Frankenstein? Are you not my creator? My father? Instead of threatening, I am content to reason with you.
Very well, foul wretch.
You are a man of genius. And with your knowledge of alchemy and science, what wonders will be so divinely wrought?
And so we staggered through the ice and snow, and I listened.
Is that how it ends? I don't think I like it.
Be that as it may, Joan, with our intentions in mind, this is even better than we could have dreamed. It must be worth a fortune. I suggest you hand it over.
You'd shoot me over a manuscript.
I think we've established it's not just any old manuscript, haven't we, Mrs. Meadowbank?
That book's worth a fortune. It's ours now. Hand it over.
Think carefully, young man.
We know what we're doing and what we want. Give it to us. Now.
Very well. But you might as well have everything.
Everything? What do you mean?
It wasn't just writing. Mrs. Shelley did some experiments too. With a little help, of course.
Oh, yes.
Come into the back room.
No. Just give us the manuscript and we shall be off.
No, Joan. Let's see what else we can get.
Just through here, behind the curtain.
Very well, but let's be quick.
Incredible. It's a whole laboratory.
Chemicals, compounds, electrical circuitry.
The experiments continued.
Look, rats in cages.
I think I understand. The book. It's not fiction. It's fact.
Yes, it's true.
And you are?
I am Mary Shelley.
But you can't be. I mean, you're old, but you can't be that old.
The knowledge of the alchemists contained many secrets.
You sound like Frankenstein.
Do I? Why don't you ask him yourself?
What?
Dr. Frankenstein? Victor? We have guests.
Good evening.
Peter and Joan.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. I think you know who I am. And someone else is here who needs no introduction.
I shall tear you limb from limb as the lion rends the antelope.
Keep back! I'll shoot!
That won't work, I'm afraid. It takes more than a bullet to kill any of us.
What do you say, good doctor? Excellent specimens for our next experiment.
Yes, my instruments at the ready. If you please, Mrs. Shelley. A scalpel, skin hooks, bone saw.
No, please.
I suggest we start with the young man. There's a very fine head on his shoulders.
No, don't touch me!
Do thy work, my royal child.
Yes, Father. This will be easy.
No, leave him alone.
Just one tiny little twist of his neck.
Well, that concludes our little tale. Did you enjoy the twist at the end? I don't think that Peter did. And rest assured, Joan will be next. What do you mean our Frankenstein story has upset you? It's all just a bit of fun. I know you'll forgive me. You always do. You're already awaiting our next rendezvous. I just know you are. You and me, the bedeviling, beautiful belladonna. Until then, you shall see me in your dreams. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the monsters bite.
You have been listening to the UEA Radio Players of Norwich, coming to you live from the Summerhall Anatomy Theatre as part of the 2018 Fates of Frankenstein Conference at Edinburgh Napier University. The actors were Zana Foley-Davies, Olivia Fraser, Amy M. Marie, Alec Mann, Peter Morant and John Turnpenny. The musician and sound engineer was Stephen Bennett. The Foley artists were Poppy Frost, Annie Parker and Beau Jong. The production was written and directed by Richard J. Hand. This is a University of East Anglia production.